Let's talk about the marathon course for the Shipyard Maine Coast Full Marathon. It's coming up on Saturday, and this is a point-to-point course. You go from Kennebunk up to Biddeford. On a day like Saturday with the wind out of the west and then the northwest, you're likely to have a bit more headwind than tailwind, but you will start the race with a nice tailwind for several miles as you start at the Kennebunk High School, go down Fletcher Street for the first couple of miles and then get on to Summer Street. And for the most part, these first 5 miles are a good net downhill, taking you down closer to the water. So you can get off to a nice start in this race. Be careful, though, with that wind at your back of that net downhill. In a marathon, you don't want to come out of the gate too fast. Could grab a couple of seconds each mile, but you don't want to set yourself up for failure later on in the race. So at this point, just about 3 miles into the race, coming up on that 3 mile marker. It does take a few miles to get down to the water along this Route 35 here. And you will take a sharp right-hand turn at about 4.5 miles. You can see that coming up on our course. There's mile 4, passing another water stop, some porta potties, so first aid if you need that early in the race. Take that right-hand turn, and you're going to do basically 2 4-mile loops around Kennebunkport. There'll be different loops, not the same loop, though. Initially, at this left-hand turn right here, you'll grab another tailwind for about 3/4 of a mile, and you'll run along the water, have more of a crosswind. It's when you take the turn at about 7.5 miles, and there is some up and down slight in this part of the course. This left-hand turn right here, I think at this point you'll probably notice the breeze in your face just a little bit as you come up back towards Route 9, but you're not going to stay on Route 9 for long at this point of the course anyway. You will be taking a right-hand turn and going into Kennebunkport. Now, between miles 9 and 13, it's another one of these loops that takes you down by the water. At this part of the course, there are some hills to contend with out this way. Of course, not right along the water, but when you're in between, say, miles 11 and 12. So this is mile 10 right here. Beautiful views along the water in Kennebunkport. But as you get closer to mile 11, you're going to notice some climbs coming in right here. So you go up and down some, still pretty early in the race, not even at the halfway point, and hopefully your legs are ready for that. You do hit the halfway point in Kennebunkport, just passing 13 miles, and then you take a right-hand turn, and you're going to spend a good chunk of the rest of the race on Route 9, heading up in the direction of Biddeford. And at this point, also looking at some slight rolling hills, miles 14, 15, 16, 17, heading up to Fortune's Rock Road, where you are going to take a right-hand turn. And that will happen not until mile 18 or 19, when the race starts to get a little bit harder. The conditions should be fairly flat in that mile 18, 19, 20 range, but around mile 21, you start to pick up another hill, and that is one of the last big hills of the course, comes with about 5 miles to go. So this stretch on on Route 9, rather, depending on exactly on how you're feeling, can be either good or bad. Again, there's not a whole lot to see. This is mile 18 right here. Once you take this right-hand turn, you'll get close to the water once again, and that will be a bit of good news for you if you're looking for something different as far as the scenery is concerned. As you get down near beach there, pretty nice, right along the water. It's Goose Rocks Beach that you'll be passing by. Then you come back up onto Route 9 once again and heading for that Fortune's Rock Road, which I told you about, which actually comes up between mile 22 and mile 23. So as far as this fly is concerned, we're just passing mile 21. You're back up out onto Route 9 right now. This is a pretty good climb right in here. Takes you up to mile 22. But you also get some downhill after mile 22, and you're heading back for the water. So just as you hit mile 23, again, only about a 5K to go at this point, you're getting close to the water onto Fortune's Rocks Road. You may notice the headwind a little more right now because you're generally heading up into a northerly direction. There will be a northwesterly wind. You'll take a left-hand turn onto 208 Old Pool Road here, and mile 25 comes up, and it's not long before you're getting close to that finish line, and you're running through some tree-lined streets, so that will help to block the wind some, give it everything you got as you come down a little downhill in the last half mile into the University of New England Biddeford campus, and that is where the race finishes right there, with, again, a slight downhill. So that will counteract somewhat of a headwind that you'll have in the last mile or so of the race. And also helping to limit that headwind will be some of the trees that you'll have. A lot of this race is exposed, being relatively close to the water, so you will be feeling that cross breeze at times, but that can be a good thing, provided that the wind's not too strong. A 10-mile-per-hour cross breeze can help to keep you nice and dry. The temperature is going to be in the 50s, pretty comfortable, and the dew point's going to be in the 30s, which is nice and comfortable. All things considered, a good day to race the Shipyard Maine Coast Marathon, and I hope you have a really good run.